Welcome back everybody to the Pick Your Poison tournament cast here on my channel. The event is organized by Daniela and her crew. Big shout out goes out to them for putting this whole thing together. Today I'll be casting the first round series of Group I between, well, these two guys here, BrownHope and KorDimon. This is a pretty interesting matchup because, again, we're in this territory where we have a clear favorite, BrownHope being seed 4 of the group, and KorDimon the 13th seed. However, we're still in a, well, lower elo type area, right, with people in the 1000 to 1100s type elo ranges, so anything can really happen in these games. And with the civs being so wonky, of course, thanks to our draft format, we're expecting lots of interesting games here. All that being said, let us go ahead and jump right into the first game of that series. You can see right there it's going to be on Golden Swamp, my personal favorite map so far at least, from spectating all these games, and frankly from playing myself as well. Just a lot of action always on that map. So, welcome back everybody, here we go. Let's get right into the game. I hope, as always, that the audio balance is fine. But so, let's get into the game right away. At the top of this map, we've got BrownHope playing as the Teuton. So you can see he's the 4th seed, so he should be the favorite here. Interestingly, on this map, though, the boars, or the rhinos, have actually spawned on the back of the map, and so have the buffaloes. That is very rare. Typically they spawn more on the front water type area here, and that's where Hope is presumably also looking for them right now. On the other side, we've got the Bulgarians for KorDimon. His rhinos have spawned on the front, and buffaloes are a bit more differently distributed. Either way, we have a north versus south type setup for this one. Now, before we get into the action of the game, let's take a quick glance at the civilization bonuses. As always, got the Teutons here on the left side, a civ that has received some love with the recent April patch, not only with the Gambeson's technology, but of course also with some Teutonic Knight buffs there. You can see there's a whole array of bonuses for this civilization, the most prominent ones being, of course, the team bonus to resist unit or monk conversion. That can be a real powerful bonus, especially for units such as the Teutonic Knights, which struggle against monks traditionally, although Bulgarians not really known for their monk play. Other than that, though, there's still great bonuses, with the farms being that much cheaper. It is a bonus that helps throughout the entire game, and then just a small few bonuses here and there. You can see mainly around garrisoning as well and healing units. Interestingly, yeah, that is what I was mainly trying to point out. Maybe also the extra melee armor for siege weapons could come in handy against the Bulgarians. Speaking of which, let's transition over on the southern side here of the map. We have the Bulgarians, one of the civs that I personally always fear playing against in latter games, just because they tend to be so powerful so early, and the man-at-arm attack truly is no joke. So that's what I'm kind of looking out for in this one as well. Are we going to see man-at-arms play here? Well, why am I saying this? The militia line upgrades from the barracks are for free, meaning that you don't have to research man-at-arms at the start of Feudal Age, so you get the upgrade immediately if you have any militia on the field. And also, of course, you save the gold and food cost, which is absolutely massive. That's such a strong early feudal power spike. On top of that, you have the Krepost buildings as well, staple there for the Bulgarians, and you have the super interesting and fun unique unit of the Konig, which of course is the mounted warrior that, when he dies, becomes an infantry unit. Just in general, a civ that is both versatile enough to create infantry and cavalry, and with the cheaper blacksmith technologies, that makes the attack switches, or just the attacking for both of these unit lines, that much easier. Alright, we see already some skirmishing here. The scouts are getting into it as I take down the Civ overview. It's looking like, yeah, we see KorDimon actually coming out ahead in the early trading here between these two scouts. We'll see. In terms of getting up to Feudal Age, we can't really see who's gonna be there first. At least not anytime soon, but KorDimon taking a really good trade here, and frankly, he's also ahead in the food department so far. His opponent, however, seems to be a little bit quicker there with the fishing ships. The second one's already about to come out. For KorDimon, he doesn't have anyone so far, so BrownHope was a bit quicker to get onto water here. And being the Teutons, in case he loses water, he's going to have a much cheaper transition onto farms on the land. So that is a bonus that might help out, especially some of us weaker players, a lot here. Because oftentimes when you rely on heavy fishing economy, that is such a good boost in food income. But when that is suddenly cut off for some reason, one reason or another, that can sometimes lead to troubles. It's actually BrownHope that is up to Feudal Age first, maybe in part because of the earlier fishing economy, but he did a good job there, dropping off all that food and clicking up. It's a 21 villager click up, even with the dock. So honestly, really solid build. That is pretty fast considering that the dock also did go up, and even has enough wood for a barracks already. On the other side, we have the Bulgarians really not getting off the ground at all. Still, wow, why do we have so many villagers queued up? My man, is he really trying to make all these villagers? That would be a 29 villager Dark Age. Exactly the opposite of what I would have actually expected here. Just because, you know, the Bulgarian early Feudal Age is something that I highlighted as something very intimidating to go up against. Either way, KorDimon here, still making another few fishing ships, it would appear. Gonna actually get scouted again. Maybe if he keeps his scout around, he can trade a bit here, but gotta be careful now, since if you go so late up to Feudal Age, you might actually run into some issues with these scout skirmishes. There we go for BrownHope. The scout gets the extra movement speed. You can see there, that's a lot of extra movement speed, 0.35 to be exact. And of course the stronger scout as well, so don't want to fight that right now. Wood upgrade already coming in for BrownHope, that's interesting. Pretty early on the double BedX, but I'm not actually opposed to it. He's had a very smooth start and he's going into scouts for now, it would appear. Bulgarians still Dark Age, only now having clicked up to Feudal. I wonder if KorDimon maybe wasn't the most comfortable on this map here. Remember that the higher seed actually gets to choose which the first map is going to be. So BrownHope likely more comfortable with this map, or at least was able to opt into playing this one at the very start. And it seems KorDimon, there's definitely logic to his madness here, so to speak. He's got a ton of houses here, but it's just a very solid wall. Right, we've seen this a couple of times already in the tournament where people had a palisade wall that was just easily broken through by enemy knights. And here's a very solid wall, and he knows that he's up extremely late, so makes sure to be walled. Now the question will be, is BrownHope going to be able to exploit that, rather? He's already got that fire ship forward, and I struggle to see how KorDimon takes back water control anytime soon here. The Teutons still on 2 fishing ships only, so maybe BrownHope wasn't even expecting to hold on to water control for this long, but with the opponent up to Feudal Age this late, even grabbing Loom now, this certainly wasn't housed, so I'm surprised by the decision to grab Loom as soon as he arrives at Feudal Age, but maybe is seriously concerned about his village's safety. Loses his scout as well now, and it's got to be a bit stressful at this point if you're the Bulgarians. The Teutons had a very solid build, and of course you deliberately opted for a later Feudal Age, but your opponent was able to get up significantly earlier than you probably expected. Oh, I think there's a hole there, isn't there? Oh no, there's a tree behind, I presume, behind that palisade. Now we gotta pay attention. Maybe that gate is going to be open at some point. That would be very costly. And the second dock is being put up by KorDimon, but immediately spotted out by BrownHope. So the pressure is certainly on. No free economy. I wonder what he's going to do about this gate. Let's see. Oh, he's got it locked. Nice attention to detail here. Making sure not to accidentally open that one. And the Chilton Scouts aren't going to find any damage for now. KorDimon gonna slowly but safely scale up to Feudal Age. And interestingly, puts in the horse collar before clicking up to Castle Age, which of course I meant to say a second ago. Getting the horse collar is surprising to me. Could have clicked up to Castle Age already had he not gotten that upgrade. Man, that was a horrible decision. I've just got to say it as like that. He's got 8 on food. Man. And now he's kind of struggling-ish. Town Center Idle should have definitely clicked up before collecting that horse collar. Man, he's queuing up yet more villagers. He's not gonna get to Castle Age at all. That was the one advantage of his build. It was gonna be the quicker Castle Age time, and he's now completely throwing that away just in order to pick up horse collar. Man, I have to strongly oppose that decision. Even making a few spearmen that also cost like 60 wood combined, I mean, or 60 food rather. It just costs you way too much food, and you're not able to get up to Castle Age quickly now. That, yeah, you have to highlight how consequential a decision that horse collar and those few spearmen were. It didn't trust, I guess, his ability to keep the walls up, but he pays for it with a very late Castle Age time. And man, the food is actually on a downwards trajectory here. Not having the mill on the berries is also big, because that would be some free food that you could be collecting right now. Man, I really like this early game for BrownHope. He had such a good Dark Age build, and is also very safe at home. He's got those walls, putting up the market now, preparing to go up to Castle Age, where he's going to arrive first, and only with marginally less villages, I would assume. Idle TC time is a bit high for Brown, so maybe got a bit distracted at some points, but I'm not gonna hold that against him a lot. I feel like he's on a good trajectory here. Still, you can't let loose. You wanna keep holding onto the map, and actually finally KorDimon able to click up to Castle Age. 250 gold still left over there for him. I'm not the biggest fan of the way he's played it so far, but I commend him on getting up to Castle Age. He probably used that market if I had to guess, although, well, who knows. Right, difficult to tell. On the other end, we've got fire galleys and a demo raft garrisoned in here for BrownHope, so it really seems as though he might have, as he clicks up to Castle Age, he might have expected some water pressure to come against him, especially after the second dock went up from the opponent. KorDimon did a fine job here defending against the water and still has 2 fishing ships alive. Even queues up a third one here, so he's feeling confident and comfortable here, making more fish. Let's see if that demo ship can do any damage, because yeah, KorDimon is outnumbering in terms of fire ships, but he's spread them out onto the map in a way such that he actually is going to be losing out in this water battle. I don't think you would want to ideally hit that fire ship with your one demo, but either way, it's going to be enough for BrownHope to clean this one up, I believe. Or if he can get just a little bit more damage out onto that top fire ship here, he can then turn on the southern one. Oh, it's difficult to reach though. Dodging and weaving here against the fire, but let's see. I think this should be a good fight for BrownHope to take, and he should be able to clean up all of this without even losing any ships of his own. So really, it's not getting any better for KorDimon right here, as he has arrived in Castle Age. Is he going to queue up some knights? What is the plan here? Putting up another town center, actually. 2 more town centers, that is. So a triple TC boom. If he can get this one off safely, that would at least be a win condition for him. He's got a slight villager lead already, and putting up 2 more town centers could get him in a good position. However, he currently only has 12 on food, which would not be enough in order to sustain triple town center production. Teutons on the other side, again, a much easier time preparing more farms. We see 2 more town centers come out for BrownHope as well, and he reads the situation very well. He's got a bit of a bigger area rather, walled in for himself than his opponent has, so the boom could also just be more effective there. More space for farms, for buildings, etc. He's gonna have a good time. I maintain that he's happy with this early game, despite being at a slight eco disadvantage as of now. He's got a few knights out already also, And the idle TC times are even converging at this point, because we can see there KorDimon not enough food just yet to maintain that production out of all three town centers. Should buy some food, honestly, at the market right here. With those 400 gold, I think it would be a good and a wise decision to buy some of that. Alright, so far so good though. He's up 12 villages and had those town centers up and running considerably earlier, so despite me talking for the entire game about how good Brown is doing here, I gotta say, it's not like KorDimon is clueless. He's clearly following a strategy. I didn't like the particular, well, castle age transition a lot. It took a little bit longer than it should have to get there for my liking. But still is now able to... Oh, he's gonna break in there, isn't he? Oh, that was close though, but no, the house foundations are good enough. Nice reaction there out of KorDimon, and he stays fine and defended for now. 4 knights there. We've seen small group of knights decide the games on this map in this tournament before, so definitely. Hey there, Beige, good to see you. Like the use of the homegang emote, it's a great one. Hope you're doing good too. Yesterday was a great day. I casted a lot of games and King of the Desert stuff as well. Daniela did a great job there, streaming like 9 hours or whatever that was. It was a great day of H2. So I thought, why not continue with a bit more casting today in between my working hours. We see, oh, the overchop has come in, and that's 4 knights into the enemy base. There's a few spearmen, but honestly I'm not too worried about that if I'm BrownHope. He's going to be able to now inflict the first kind of eco losses onto his opponent in this game. Although, yeah, it looks like the knights have been defended rather well. And still, we've got a 13-0 eco KD for the Teutons at this point. Man, I'd love to pay some water units and a few knights in HP. If I can do that immense and eco damage to the opponent. And the village elite, 12 villagers that Bulgarians had at the start of Castle Age have already been caught up to. So, man, that win condition may be slipping away as well. Hey, thanks, Beige, for the feedback on my casting. I'm not very knowledgeable about the game. I'm trying my best though, because I've mainly casted Civ 3 and League of Legends so far, so always nice to expand and cast games that I'm currently very hyped about. Man, it looks like BrownHope is actually playing a very solid game. Like, he is the favorite in this matchup, and there go some impactful demos that take out a lot of his HP. Still, no follow-up available for the Bulgarians, so I don't think that's gonna turn the tides on water. And instead he's now opting for conic production without really having any upgrades whatsoever. Only upgrade he has for military is fletching. Of course, has the scale barding queued up. A few idle villagers here around the town center as well. The strategy for KorDimon is becoming a bit less consistent here, I feel like. I wonder if he's just scrambling to find responses here, especially to the enemy knights. It's Teutons, remember, so the monk response isn't really as intuitive and as just effective against them. Thus, I can see why you would be struggling to find a good answer. BrownHope, 9 knights, 2 monks at his disposal, huge water control. He's controlling the entire map right now. And man, he's going for the forward castle. We haven't really seen this on this map before. Good to see you in chat, BrownHope. Nice to see you there. Yeah, hope this was a good series. I'll see, I guess, but always love me some Golden Swamp games. As we see you, or BrownHope, taking control of this entire map. And I was just gonna say, this is something we haven't really seen a whole lot in the tournament yet. People going for the immediate forward castle. Most people have gone for the safe castle at home, or if they were in a winning position, for the consolidating castle in the middle to start taking control of the gold. BrownHope here skipping those 2 steps entirely and straight away going for the forward castle. Can afford to do that because he has the naval control and has also inflicted a lot of eco damage on the opponent, so he knows that the enemy is not running away with an eco lead right now. And there goes the castle, and it doesn't deny any resources immediately from the Bulgarians, but it makes it very awkward to defend here, since that house line is about to break. And then the knights are all free to move in there. I like the preemptive knights upgrade coming in. So honestly, this could be a devastating game-ending push. We'll see how it plays out. Castle is almost up there, and now the Bulgarians have vision of it, if not before. This is a tough, it's a tough look here for the Bulgarians. You are right that Teuton's idle TC time is a bit higher than it needed to be, but at least Brown is doing something in the meantime, right? You don't always need to be 100% precise if you are very active. That is actually a philosophy from a very successful League of Legends coach, Yamato Cannon, Jakob Mapdi, in case people know him. He's been the first one to bring that up, kind of, where if you're in gaming, in competitive gaming, if you're following a strategy, you don't need to be 100% precise, and you can't be 100% precise if you are super hyperactive and putting on constant pressure. And vice versa. If you don't put on a lot of pressure, you at least need to be 100% precise in what you do. So honestly, a little bit idle TC time is fine if you're keeping the pressure high on the opponent as well. And I like the action here. Definitely a above average quality game for the low elo brackets that I've cast so far, I would say. And Bulgarians' response so far has been Conics and Pikemen, and the upgrades have started to come in at least. So with the Bulgarians' discount and quicker research time in the blacksmith, they have been able to kind of catch up in technologies there, but the eco space is kind of running out. The castle to the side doesn't really secure any additional resources, and another castle could be dropped in terms of stone, but instead, well, we'll see what he ends up opting for. He's on the way to Imp quite a bit earlier than BrownHope is, and we'll see if he can maybe start earlier trap production and push back the castle that way. It's going to be a tough uphill battle there, because those are quite a few knights. We've got the Conic raid coming out now, but a good response there. I'm not sure you even need to send back all of your knights here if you're BrownHope. PC in the middle, good job there. The monk might get that conversion, I'm not sure. Okay, the garrison does the job as well. Nicely done. Imp now in for the Bulgarians, but no trebuchets queued just yet. Good choice of battle here for the Bulgarians, getting the most out of the few conics, but ultimately they still fall, and so do the houses at home. So the pressure is certainly still there. Conscription actually coming in before any trebuchets. You've got a 1300 stone count here just floating at home. I would have really loved to see at the end, before hitting Imperial Age, him attempt to put up that second castle so you could get the immediate trap production, because that was kind of like you needed to get that enemy castle out before, or get it down rather, before the traps start coming out. Yeah, I would also be surprised if I was BrownHope by the quick Imperial Age time of my opponent, but he really doesn't have a great army in the field. He's now putting up that second castle, but certainly BrownHope is going to be able to get at least 1 or 2 traps out of that castle, and having the larger army, the much larger army in the field, I should add, should definitely serve him well. Let's see if Bulgarians can outlast here, though. They are still producing conics, trying their best to hold on there. They've got a lot of upgrade actually from the blacksmith. Even Bracer now starting to come in, which is a bit curious. Not sure why we're emphasizing the archery upgrades. That only really works for our castles, but still the upgrades come in, and it's good to see he's not given up just yet. Expanding to the side here, making sure that the wall kind of remains intact, although the middle is already looking quite tough as the opponent has reached Imp, and queuing up traps, Cavalier, and the armor upgrade for the horseman as well makes it so the Teutons are going to be able to roll here pretty soon, presumably, although maybe the 17 halberdiers are actually everything KorDimon needs in order to stop that attack. I would really love to see these 36 knights, oh goodness, cavaliers at this point, do something. Maybe split up a bit, because the opponent's halberdiers, you don't really need to fight them, but if you split up your knights and pressure at 2 different points, then you can use your mobility advantage in order to actually get some damage done, despite not actually fighting the halberdiers directly. Trebuchets start coming out here, and with the galleon support, maybe the enemy trebuchet can be taken out here. Half HP already gone. It'll be interesting to see, can that trebuchet be defended though? The cavalry aren't in range yet, and oh, he's playing with fire here, BrownHope is, but so far he's able to hold on to his trebuchets. The castle is taking heavy fire, but already 3 trebuchets on the map, and the enemy castle is getting low too. The cavalier run in, but that's a lot of halberdiers, and I'm not sure you want to take this battle face up. Enemy trebuchets are taken out. Maybe pull back after getting those kills on the trebuchets. It doesn't look like that's what BrownHope is currently interested in. I wonder if that's gonna go well for him. I'm not sure you want to take all that, but the resources in the bank are backing up his decision. He's actually won the combat here. Wow, luck favors the bold, it would appear, and he's actually gonna be able to storm in, kill a few villages, and take out the traps as well. I think that's gonna be the town center going down too, after the first castle has already fallen, and it looks like that cavalier mass with the great upgrades might have been enough to actually overwhelm here and push through. There's not really that many more halberdiers alive, but of course the constant production is still coming out of all of these barracks, so maybe it's not all over yet for the Bulgarians. Being housed though, God, I feel terrible here. 100 villagers, well, this is 83. He's not necessarily completely done yet. Also doing, well, no, I thought he was raiding there, but might have seen that wrong. I would love to see BrownHope take a small breather here, heal up those cavalier again, build up a few more maybe, and then come back. He definitely can afford the paladin upgrade. At that point, that is something to seriously consider. Could also go into some infantry though. All of the technologies need still to be researched here for the infantry armor, but if you're afraid of going up against halberdiers, maybe some infantry could get the job done in that regard. KorDimon still alive here. He's got those 2 TC at the back still. He's got that 1 castle allowing him to still make some trebuchets. Can he somehow bring this one back? He's really controlling nothing here. Only the very southern tip of the map being pressured by this nice little side base here from BrownHope. Creative play there. Like to see it. The halberdiers are now being used to attempt to take out the enemy trebuchets. I don't think KorDimon is going to be able to do this one, and if he is, oh, can we see some hit and run here? Potentially. I was gonna say this is gonna be a costly endeavor if he tries to force down the enemy trebuchets, but no, it would appear as though the galleons aren't actually able to hold the halberdiers at bay, and he gets 2 trebuchets quote-unquote for free. Stays alive here, so really, BrownHope's gotta make a decision. Either go into paladins and just overwhelm the enemy halberdiers. I don't think that's the most efficient way of going about it. Or you gotta transition into some infantry potentially, and that's what he's apparently opting for right now. Alright, not bad. Alright, halberdier bonus damage against ship, fair enough. Yeah, you definitely would need to keep hitting and running, and with only 8 galleons, I assume it would take a while to take out enemy halberdiers. So you're right, I think you could probably have done a lot about that. Oh man. You're absolutely right. The halberdiers counters everything that you have on the field right now. Need some siege, or you need some infantry against that. Gonna lose that castle here at the front. Luckily for Brown, he's got 2 castles, so that side castle here is still available. The Teutonic Knights a bit vulnerable still, needing that last infantry attack, and also of course just difficult to tank buildings with that. Lots of halberdiers here, and so far BrownHope doesn't have an answer for that. KorDimon is confined to a very small area of the map, but his eco is still completely intact, and actually we see the second time in this game that the cavalry are gonna take the heads-up fight with the halberdiers. I'm not sure I really like this decision. It looks like he's losing a lot of units here. Is this KorDimon taking back the control of this game? He's the 13th seed, but he actually might be turning the tides here. He's taken out the enemy town center in the middle, and he's cleaned up all the enemy army at this point. Where were the Teutonic Knights? Where were the Longswordsman potentially. Oh man, it's all falling apart so quickly after 40 minutes of great gameplay by BrownHope. He's starting to lose control of this first game. This is the neutral map, setting the tone for the entire series. Usually, oh, that would be such an annoying loss for the Teutons. It's not all gone yet. They still have one castle up. They've got the 3 town centers at home, but only 67 villages now. Man, BrownHope here, he's still got some rest to work with, but it's gonna lose the entire map control now. As the Teutonic Knights are trying to force down the enemy crab host on the side. That would be a very marginal victory, even if he gets it. So, nothing to really worry about. And fighting helps with helps. Not sure that is actually the best way to go about it. Man. Such unfortunate turns of events for BrownHope, but I had almost written KorDimon off, being the lower seed as well. But my goodness, the sheer mass of infantry and cavalry was too much to handle. No answer for the halberdiers. I really would have loved to see some siege. Do Teutons get hand cannoneers? If Teutons get hand cannoneers, that would have been the obvious best choice here. And BrownHope calls it. 64 villagers, 40 behind at this point. I can understand that decision. Massive first game victory for KorDimon, taking the lead in the series, and we're on to the BrownHope's home map next. The higher seed here kinda running into some trouble in game 1 of the series. Game 2 apparently going to be on Arabia. Let's see if we can pull that one up. Actually, let me quickly pull up the draft page again while I try to get into the next game. Seems Arabia is the next map of this series though. What a game! KorDimon, huge props, going up 1-0 in the series as the 13th seed. And BrownHope now backs against the wall. Wow. I'm still not sure if you get hand cannoneers as Teutons. This would have been a great choice in this one. That would have been all you needed there. Cavalier, hand cannoneers, traps. I think that could have cleaned up everything. But again, I'm not sure the Teutons actually get that. Let me actually look it up because I'm so interested finding out. They do! Oh man. Man, that is unfortunate. Really is. Can't blame you though, because I never build hand cannoneers. I hate fighting them, but I won't stoop so low as to build them myself. Okay, just quickly, I want to get into the next game right away, of course, but let me just quickly pull it up and get the overlay ready as well. Yeah, I mean, am I not right? Is hand cannoneers not one of the most annoying units in the game that ruins my late game fun every time? And no, I won't go that low. Okay, that's the draft here, and you can see game 2 Arabia. The matchup is gonna be Magyars versus Burmese, since this is the home map of our higher seed who's back against the wall. I'm not sure we've seen a lower seed in that much of a lopsided matchup actually take the first map yet, but KorDimon has succeeded and he's got the chance to close it out here as we head into game 2 on Arabia. It's gonna be a banger. Magyars versus Burmese. These are 2 of the civs that I have in my civ pool for this tournament. Sadly, I never got to pull out the Burmese. And I don't even think I was able to pick the Magyars either. Maybe they got sniped or something. But definitely excited to see both of those, especially on my most played map of Arabia as well. Let's see how these 2 guys are gonna be handling those. So, it's Arabia. Let's check out what these civs actually do. On the left side, we've got the Magyars. They've been picked a lot of times in this tournament already, known for their absolutely devastating scout rush with the free forging upgrade as soon as they hit feudal age. And of course cheaper scouts as well, so you can really get in there early. 18 pop scout rush, very much feasible. And other than that, they are known for also having great options in the late game. The cavalry archers, super strong once you get the recurve bow technology, for example. So really quite a versatile civ, and the longer the game goes, kinda the more I like them. and couple that with the super potent early Scout Rush, they can really do some damage. And if you want to play some mind games, you don't have to go for the Scouts. You can also do Man-at-Arms, for example, since the free Blacksmith upgrades also, of course, affect infantry units. That's it for the Magyars, though. Let's see what the Burmese have to offer. I'm kind of more excited about them, even, because, as I said, that's one of the civs I've also favored lately, and I haven't seen them picked a lot. That is gonna be interesting. BrownHope needs to win here, otherwise he's out of the tournament. So let's see if Burmese can be what, well, gets him the edge he needs in order to get this dub here. Starting off a little bit rough here, actually using up all the food here, and actually goes for wood a bit. I think he might have thought there was no more sheep underneath his town center, but there actually was one over here on the right side, and he ends up taking out the rhino. All good though, just maybe a little bit of idle food time that he didn't necessarily need. I love baskets here, man. Cool to see you. I saw your series against Sito, wasn't it? You're a very high elo player here. Welcome, welcome. Alright, BrownHope though, let's focus in. I love the Burmese. Let me just quickly tell you guys why. The infantry attack bonus is such a sleeper. I see nobody talking about this. But isn't this so great? 1 extra infantry attack every age. That's basically the same bonus that the Magyars have. With the extra effect that surely, I mean, it doesn't apply to cavalry, of course, but in terms of infantry, you can also get the blacksmith upgrades in addition to that. So isn't the infantry just super scary at every single age? Well, maybe not in Dark Age, but you know what I mean, right? I love to see some infantry action there out of the Burmese. Couple that with the great monasteries. You can see there half cost on monastery tax. That can add up a lot, and you know those monastery tax primarily all cost a lot of gold. So saving a lot of gold in that department can also yield huge benefit. Oh, losing a village on the lure. Imagine being the 4th seed, favored in the series, going down 1-0 on the neutral map, and then losing a villager to the lure on your home map. That's what we hate to see here. Hopefully Brown can recover from that and give us an exciting 3-game series. Anything else to say about the Burmese? I'm not sure. The extra armor on elephants, of course, is nice. I'm not the hugest elephant player myself, though, so that's why I'm not that enthusiastic about that. And the team bonus is also pretty good. Seeing where the relics spawn on the map from the very get-go. Let's check that out. We should be able to see that from his perspective. Yeah, you can see right there on the minimap, these relics being highlighted. Gives you a very good idea of the enemy being somewhere in that on the western side of the map, right? So, very useful bonus to have as well. Oh, man. That thingy, go away, please. Alright, we've got all of that covered. A bit embarrassing gameplay, BrownHope says. With the lure, it happens to the best of us. It really rarely happens, but it always happens at the worst times. Am I right, guys? Oh boy. I love to see the Burmese, and I want to see what type of strategy we're going for here. 7 on wood. Okay, we're already up to Feudal Age, 20 pop-up click. Seems like that was probably his intended build, and he's been able to get there pretty fine. 3 on gold is interesting. Let's see what this is gonna end up being. Militia coming out of the barracks already. I love to see it. We want to see some man-at-arms action here. Magyars on the other side, putting up that barracks now. Only now clicking up to Feudal Age. Looks like we're actually going to see just standard scout play out of them. Again, that's to be expected in most of the games. And Hope now able to scout the enemy. Also kind of knows what's up. Is going to be able to see that enemy is not on stone yet, or on gold yet rather. Even able to get some free hits on the enemy scout. Okay, nice job. That's massive. Taking out one enemy scout so early on. Almost losing his own though, so you gotta be careful there. It's double-edged sword here. I gotta pay attention early on in these games, and Magyars having moved out to get those zebras might prove a target worthy of an early attack. 30 seconds earlier is the feudal age time here for the Burmese, and they're actually bringing archers as well. That's why we're putting 3 on food, or 3 on gold rather, excuse me. Only 2 militia. I didn't expect that. We get the classic 2 militia play here. Really was expecting him leaning a little bit more into infantry, especially because you're expecting scouts from the opponent, and mixing in a few spearmen could also be good. But again, nothing stops you from sending a few spearmen alongside your archers, and archers tend to be the strongest feudal age unit in a vacuum, so I don't hate the archer play at the face value. This is a very bad French rush, I see. Honestly though, I mean, you're not getting the highest value out of your militia here. You're causing some idle time. You've killed 1 villager, so it's not like it's not like you got nothing, right? I mean, it could have been worse. Looks like you've also lost your scout though, didn't you? Burmese scout, I can't... No, there's one on the map. Oh, there it is. Alright, so you didn't lose that one at least. Could definitely have been worse. Again, a very early horse color for KorDimon. I'm not sure if he just always does this, but I don't think this is efficient just yet. He wants to use those middle villages from the deers to get some farms up, but that's very inefficient. Look at this. He doesn't have the wood to allow him to do that right now, and that's gonna cost him quite some time here to get off the ground. Not the smoothest eco transition there, to be honest. And the scouts, he lost his starting one, so that's going to be the second one that he made here out of the stable, but he's definitely way behind the curve in terms of military. There is a window here for BrownHope, and he's getting the pick on the scout. KorDimon got to pay attention. Early on, you don't have a lot of military numbers. You can't just throw them away one by one like this, and that's got to give BrownHope some confidence, because he's picked off 3 enemy scouts in total now. While there's still 1 militia hilariously patrolling around. Of course, as I said before, the Magyar bonus, free forging, also applies to infantry, but not like this, man. These are not efficient trades that KorDimon has taken, and I think overall BrownHope is pretty happy with how this game has developed so far. He's still getting more archers. Gotta be careful not to run into the GC though. Alright, you gotta watch out there, my man. But he's seen the enemy villagers run westwards, and he's trying to find where they could have gone here potentially. Pretty big line of sight here on these units, but not quite big enough. He's spotting the farms to the south though. Oh, that's gonna be pain for the Magyars. Is he not attacking there? Maybe he himself is currently not paying full attention, also trying to make sure not to get raided at home. I completely understand that, bringing 3 more archers forward. Love to see it. Are we now going to harass the enemy farms? I really think it's very bold of KorDimon not to pull those villages back by now. Man, you're absolutely right. That pressure is hurting the blue worker efficiency, and he's now trying to fight with his villagers, but good kiting and good making sure that the hill bonus is also coming in on BrownHope's side. He's taken out 2 more villages now. This is not a great early game for the Magyars, who are still trying to make some sort of a scout play work, but it's very late at this point, and great job walling here by Brown, who's shut off the entire southern side of his base, while the north is still wide open, but of course KorDimon doesn't know about that. Now able to get a few hits in with the scout. He's going to be able to take out 1, if not 2 archers here. Just going to be the 1 for now. Gotta keep your spearmen around if you're BrownHope. I wonder, where's all the spearmen? He's got 3 in the field, but he's losing his archers, all of them actually, that he sent as reinforcements. So yeah, but both sides have taken some negative trades so far. Where do we have the additional spearmen? Oh, 2 of them are at home, just defending. It looks as though then BrownHope is content with the damage that he has done, and keeping those spearmen at home. Wouldn't mind, I guess, if he lost all those units on offense, where he's still finding great trades, even keeping that spearman alive at what is that, 1 HP? Of course it is. Man, that is inconvenient for the Magyars, who are finally able to clean this one up, but way behind. Look at the eco numbers. We've got a 3-to-1 eco KD, losing that 1 to the boar, of course, so of course the opponent doesn't know about that. 7 villager lead. The idle TC time really tells the story of this game. Both players have struggled to keep the production up, but man, if BrownHope only knew that his opponent's got a way worse idle TC at this point. Heavily leaning into farms, not even using the 5 that he's put up in the south here. That just hurts to see here for KorDimon, trying to keep it together. He's got a 1 game advantage in this series, but it's starting to slip away here as he's again trying to move out with those scouts. Pressure about to come in again from the 5 archers or whatever that is that BrownHope has brought to the front. Fletching is in, the spearmen are in front. I like to see it. This is a solid raiding party. And don't even bother with those scouts, right? You are well at home, you're fine. Okay, I mean, I kind of jinxed that one. That's on me. Yeah, okay. I mean, I just shut up. My lord. Okay, he loses 1 villager. It's not great to see. I guess he's moved all of those spearmen out. Didn't keep them around at home. And oh, the house wall doesn't end up coming through. That is a tilter. Man, we've all been there. Hate to see that one. He's bringing some archers back. I don't even like that. Just make 2 spearmen out of... Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. Just making 2 spearmen. You don't even need to bring those archers back. They don't even do anything against scouts. You don't even hit a single shot anyways. Still, he's trying to raid a bit. Joke's on him though. Those farms were never reoccupied. And losing another villager now. Okay, those scouts have gotten a lot more value than they should have. The Eco KD is back to 3 apiece here. And KorDimon, he's a very tenacious player. Tough to keep down, I can tell you that. Ooh. Alright, I mean, the archers are just kind of standing there. We need to move around a bit more when we've got units on the enemy. Otherwise, yeah, we need to maximize that value. He should never be able to farm all of this space here around his town center. You can keep on shooting at those villagers. If you don't find those 2 wood lines, it's fine and all, but you gotta hit something with those archers, other than some abandoned farms. Up to Castle Age is BrownHope already, so he's not gonna be all too bothered with this. Some skirmishes start coming out for KorDimon. Finally, he's actually gone double archery range, which... Again, why are we going double archery range if we can't even produce out of both? He's queuing up skirmishes out of both, but that is not necessary in the slightest, I think. Bit of an overinvestment, as far as I'm concerned. Look at the eco, absolutely in shambles. He's got only like 15 villagers working right now. That is not what you like to see. I hope the walls have been completed at this point, but there's some villagers. There's some villagers who've been shut out, and it looks like they're about to suffer. There's a gap in here as well, I believe, although I'm not sure that palisade extends. It's gonna be 2 dead villagers for BrownHope. It's gotta be annoying. He's trying his best to play safe at home and all, but keeps getting surprised with those scouts. And yeah, there he goes, loses another one here. It's fine though, he's trading back a little bit. And he's about to hit Castle Age while his opponent is still ages away. 20 on wood right now. KorDimon is really struggling to keep a solid eco intact. And frankly, he has not been able to do that. Castle Age in now for BrownHope. That's gotta be super scary for the Magyar player. Crossbowman could be such a terror at this point. You're up against Burmese though, so you never know. I mean, he might even go for some siege monk shenanigans for all you know. Because, well, you can't really move out to scout here. That being said, he's still trying to find some value with those. It's gonna be a tough uphill battle though. Knights are the decision at this point for BrownHope. Well, that's gonna be some more tax that he needs to invest in. So, you know, luckily he has the armor upgrade already, but going into knights tends to be quite expensive. He's no longer got that eco lead that he established early on, but with the amazing idle time he was able to cause, I think he should still have a bunch more resources collected on at this point. Let's check it out. Resource collected total 2,000 more res collected. That's his advantage right now. Besides, of course, being up to Castle Age already. He's trying to get in through the south, it seems, and just barely is able to get there in time, which is super funny to me. He's just waltzing in there through the walls and now taking out 2 more villagers, while the scouts knock at the door at the top. The knights also got in onto the skirmishers, which is a Very interesting play here, taken from 2 angles. Didn't account for the spearman though, and thus maybe not taking the greatest trades with his knights. Nonetheless, was able to pick off 2 more villages in the south here, and the eco KD is at this point 5-5. So both players still able to inflict some damage on their respective opponents. That's a lot of skirmishes though, so maybe with 2 or 3 knights, BrownHope could really be doing some damage here. He's gotta handle those scouts though, who have again broken into his base. Not the scariest, but gotta make sure to have something there as a response. Archers firing from atop the hill against the skirmishes is not the best trades you could hope for, but it's the best you are gonna get at this point. And even diving with the knight, that's a bit over-eager for my liking, and I'm not sure BrownHope really wants this trade. I guess he's not gonna be mad about losing those archers. It really looks like he's actually hoping to transition into cavalry rather. So loses the entire army forward. Not sure that was necessary, but I guess he just was mentally resetting and trying to get onto the knight switch here and fully commit to that. Fair enough. Ideally you want to hold on to those archers though, because that's a dual threat that forces the opponent to keep those skirmishers around. And yeah, would have been a good idea is all I'm saying. Man-at-Arms upgrade now for the Burmese. Alright, so I guess we're going into longswords at this point. Fine decision. Although I'm not sure what those are really necessary for. I mean, if you have knights already, I'm not sure what longswords do that knights can't really. Maybe I'm gonna be taught differently here, though. I'm just saying. Not really sure if this is the point in time that we want to attack into infantry. If we're starting to actually commit for knights, I'd rather get the knight or the cavalry upgrades instead of now also doing all this heavy attacking into infantry. I guess though with an infantry moss it's easier to take out buildings and stuff. Either way, the infantry bonus of course with the Burmese, I guess you would want to make use of that, so I can understand it. If you want to attack buildings, infantry is better than knights. Every other use, I would say, in Castle Age knights still outweigh the infantry. And now the scouts are finally enough, having taken out 4 enemy palisades. Neither player, I don't think, was aware of what was going on back there. Honestly, I think you can just turn around and kill those scouts with a few villagers at this point. Not sure BrownHope has realized this. Now takes all his knights to clean up the scouts. That gives his opponent a lot of time and information that he shouldn't really have. So, not the biggest fan of that. At least he's gonna get that handled, but really, the few scouts that the Magyars have made have gotten a lot more value than they should have, and I can't imagine BrownHope is happy with how this series has gone for him so far. Oh man. Honestly, he's been the far more proactive player, but he's had some terrible fights in this series that have really cost him. He's gotta shore up a few of those things in order to pull this one around. Otherwise, it's gonna be a short tournament for him. Second TC now coming up for the Magyars. They have kind of re-established their eco. 17 farms is enough to sustain town centers for sure. And still the 1 TC for the Burmese. So they are really forced to actually do some damage here because they're gonna lose out on that village elite very soon if they don't. I mean, this guy, this is a real gentleman. Like, look at him. He's not even looking. His wife got that. He knows that. Man. That's a rocky marriage. That's all I'm saying. Alright, so the knights are coming in through the south now. Good job. Spotting the weak point in the defenses. Now, what are we going to do with them? We're not going to fight pikemen heads up again, are we? Look for the ecos. You've got enough knights that you can split them up. Keep a group of them to keep the enemy pikes busy, but instead we're taking the fight from uphill, and honestly it's going much better than I would have expected. The sheer numbers combined with the hill bonus make for a very good skirmish here in favor of the Burmese, and that was a big win that I personally wouldn't have gotten because I wouldn't have actually taken that fight, I don't think, but well played by this guy. Figuring out what the angle was, and now we've got some real trouble here for the Magyars. It's got to keep that eco safe, and the villagers at the back. Oh boy, that's 9 villagers. Can any of them survive? Oh boy. I feel like BrownHope might be a bit distracted by the next scout raid that has arrived at his borders. And this was a terrible letdown of a raid, honestly. Man, it looked so good when those knights broke in, but instead it's him who's lost another few villages, I think, to the scouts in his own base. And he's lost all the knights on offense too. Oh, what a rough look. Luckily, he still has the longswordsmen, and they are very good against enemy pikemen. So I guess that is the edge that infantry has against cavalry. You've got the 2 armor upgrades already as well, but a bit indecisive here is BrownHope, who's not really ready to go in with them into the eco, it looks like. This is a rough look. He's down in villager production at this point, so he's got to make something happen. The night trade was not efficient at all. You are absolutely correct. Against skirmishers and against pikemen, I'm totally okay going longswords here. So this might have been a good call. But sending them in separate from the knights might have been a bad decision here. Oh boy. This is a rough game here, honestly, for both of these guys. Because it feels like BrownHope should have punished very hard here. And it feels like KorDimon's eco was in complete disarray here very early on. But somehow it's shaken up to be quite the even game state. I still like BrownHope's better, I think. Just because he's got the more safer base setup. He's still got a military force that his opponent doesn't have a great answer to as of now. And he has caused incredible idle time. The resource collected, again, we take another quick look here. Wow, it's more than 5,000 differential. So that those last 5 minutes have been actually great for BrownHope, even though he might not know it. He's getting Gombasons right now. We'll see how that goes. Alright, he's got the Gombasons upgrade. That's very good against skirmishers, archers, and town center fire. Forging would be very good at this point. I think, honestly, like, you have the bonus damage, sure. But forging is such great value. If you've got 15 longswordsmen, that's 1 attack for each of them for just 150 food. Would love to see that. He's now taking the fight, it seems, and I think this should be a very good fight. The archers are going to melt at the hand of these longswordsmen, and the knights have to flee as well. Alright, that's again a little bit of army thrown away kind of there by KorDimon, not really gaining anything out of that. And he's also not been able to raid anymore at the same time, with the second TC having gone up for the Burmese as well. 23 on food, so it's now him who has the smoother boom going. The knights still trying to get some damage in, but honestly, the longswordsmen are a real pain to deal with right now. Look at those stats. 3 melee armor, 4 pierce armor, and they've taken out the enemy blacksmith as well. They're now fully in the enemy woodline, and again, all those villagers have to go on migration. That's going to be a lot of villager kills here. 17 kills already on the longswordsmen here, between the archers, the knights, and the villagers. This was a very good raid, and actually, KorDimon, he is running out of space that he can safely run eco at. A second military force now coming in from BrownHope would be a really good idea, I feel like, to pressure the gold and the woodline at the same point if you can. Castle going up for Magyars now. They have enough stone for even a second castle pretty soon, so might be a bit difficult to punish them in the next few minutes, since they are consolidating with castles. So in that case, maybe it's time to actually start booming up a bit and going for imp yourselves if you're the Burmese. However, for now the castles aren't up just yet, and it looks like he somehow got in there. I thought the house walls were up, but no! All the villagers building up the castle have been taken out, and that changes everything. No castle protecting the gold. KorDimon's gonna be in some huge trouble here. Man, he's continuing to throw in knights there, single file, streaming into the enemy sea of longswordsmen. You hate to see it. He's not gonna get up this castle, I don't think. Oh, it's terrible news for him. He's running out of space entirely. Now sending the flood of villagers. I think the game might end here, folks. How many are those? 16 villagers? I don't think they're gonna be getting that castle up. And KorDimon calls it. That was the pivotal moment of the game, and I thought the house wall was actually up and running, but no. There was a way to get in there for BrownHope, and he's punished it. Infantry is continuing to be king on this patch, and the Burmese, Love to see it. Give us the victory here and extend the series, which has been one of the best ones so far, simply because the underdog pulled ahead early, and we now see the favorite trying to pull the series back and forcing a game 3 here. He's on the verge of doing just that. He's gonna have to win on his opponent's home map now, though. And oh boy, we might be in for a long one here, because as is tradition here, game 3 is going to be on Arena. Berbers against Slavs. We've seen a lot of Berbers already here, especially even on Arena as well, I believe. But Slavs is something we haven't really seen a lot in this tournament just yet. Happy to see a game 3 and happy to see Longswordman. I'm fully on your side there, Beige. That's gonna be a banger closeout game, I hope. I just hope it doesn't last 2 hours, because if it does, I mean, I might have to insert a little dinner break there, if that's the case. All right, though. Let me just quickly pull it up. Where are we at? Got Slavs versus Berbers. Exactly. Okay. Yeah, let's jump right in there, shall we? KorDimon versus BrownHope. Game 3. Winner moves on. Loser is out of the tournament. It's been an exciting series. Really has. And the lower seed player KorDimon is on his home map here, trying to get a massive upside over the seed 4 player BrownHope. Slavs versus Berbers. Two civs that I think are cool, but I haven't played a ton yet myself. Also two civs that we don't see all the time on Arena, at least not in ladder play. I wonder who's gonna come out on top here. This could be a banger one. I'm gonna say I'm trying to predict kind of how this game might go. And so far we've really seen Berbers taking a slow approach to every Arena game, kind of getting to their late game, cheaper cavalry, spamming camels, spamming knights, something of that sort. We haven't really seen Slavs yet, so that's the X factor for me here. Let's start off with the Berber overview, shall we? There we go, Berber civs details up. There we go. I hope. Did that work? I think it did. Faster moving villagers, we all know about that. The naval bony are irrelevant on this map since, no water. They've of course got the Castle Age and Imperial discount on stable units. Cheap cavalry that you can spam out here with the presumably very strong Arena economy. And of course, the same thing I bring up every time when talking about the Berbers. I love the versatility. Sure, they mainly only want to make cavalry, but all of their their cavalry as a whole can fill so many different roles, is what I mean. They can make knights, they can make camels, sure, but they can also go into janitors, which are mounted skirmishers, a unit that nobody else really has, or into camel archers, of course, which is kind of the staple. If you've got enough camels, or enough castles rather, the camel archers can also be pretty good. Any other bonuses really? Not really that I want to point out. So let's now take a look at the much more exciting Slavs, just for the reason that we haven't really seen them yet. I don't think I've costed singles last game in the tournament so far. We'll see if KorDimon's gonna be able to show why they are underrated and should be picked more often. What are Slavs known for? Well, typically for their incredible farmers. 10% speed on farmers doesn't sound great, but you know those games. Sometimes people in the Castle Imperial Age, they scale up to 30, 40, 50, 60 farms, I don't know. So that continues to be one of the strongest late game eco bonuses for sure. So great farming economy there for them. Free garrisons and supplies are pretty good, of course, on this patch, since infantry has been very effective. As soon as you hit Castle Age, you can hit the ground running with your infantry production there. The unique unit of the Boyar, I'm not the biggest fan there, but, they have it. And, yeah, other than that, Not really anything that's going to be game-changing here on Arena. Maybe the cheaper castles, though, because if you can replace a lot of that stone cost with wood, that really makes it easier to spam a lot of castles, but typically you don't really need that many with Slavs, I don't think. And especially on an Arena, you should be good with a lot of infantry as well, I believe. Either way, I might be wrong about that, and we'll see how KorDimon makes use of that civilization. Again, you might be able to tell I'm not the hugest Slavs connoisseur myself, although I have learned that the trident icon that the Slavs has, that you can see right there, is kind of the icon of Ukraine and Ukrainians and their people. So, yeah, I guess, go Ukraine. Alright, politics out of the way. Let's now actually look at the game. Can't see anything outstanding here. Both players have been gone for the kind of exact same types of builds so far, unless I've missed something. Second lumber camp for the Berbers already. That's something that I believe Hera said as well. On Arena, typically you go one lumber camp in Dark Age, because once you hit Castle Age, you're gonna drop some TCs on the wood line, and those are gonna serve as your new lumber camps. So maybe you don't necessarily need extra lumber camps early on. Yeah, at least that's what I heard. Kind of the interesting mill placement here for KorDimon. I like to place my mills like that as well, but I've now transitioned to the mainstream way of leaving no gap there, because, well, it just seems to work out better, doesn't it? Also, I haven't looked at the relics yet, but that is a crazy one. More often than not in these tournament games, we have seen the relics heavily favor one side of the arena map. And this time around, it's actually BrownHope, the higher seed, who gets a little bit of a confidence boost, hopefully, by seeing that all the relics are really on his side of the map. It's pretty crazy to me. Scout skirmishes here, where this time around KorDimon gets the first couple of hits in. Looks like he's actually going to be brought into the enemy base. That's an interesting strategy. Okay, nicely done by BrownHope. That was quick thinking. Garrisoning now, and that scout is gonna be dead. I was gonna say KorDimon got the first hit there, but actually ends up getting trapped and very quick on his feet there, BrownHope, and he's gonna get all the middle control with that, I believe. At least in the short term, right? You can still wrestle that back, of course. Man, both guys about to be up to feudal age kind of at the same time. BrownHope with an extra villager though. The idle time for KorDimon kind of concerning. 30 seconds of idle TC time in the Dark Age? Might have gotten housed there at some point that I didn't notice. But that is surprisingly high, really is. So, one villager less and still barely up earlier to feudal age. That's a small early advantage for the higher seed player. And there we go, both players getting up. Let's see how smooth their fast castle transition is going to be. 2 buildings down for both of them. They're going to get those up in time. I'm kind of scared for KorDimon, who might be forced to actually buy some food if he wants to keep the transition smooth and running. He's got the farm foundations here, but he hasn't actually put them up yet, so it's a bit iffy for him, whereas the Berbers have pulled up a beautiful build here. They've got those buildings up now, and immediately on the way to Castle Age is BrownHope. So he's ahead of the curve here, actually. And yeah, we're still missing 200 food on the side of KorDimon, who has 70 gold extra that he didn't really need. Did he even get loom already? No, he did not. So I guess if he got that, that might buy himself some time. But instead, he's actually buying food with gold. Now he doesn't have the gold necessary to click up, so it's really a bit chaotic for him here. The poor guy, he should definitely make... Never mind, he just sold some wood. Fair enough. Bit of a rough transition here. On his home map, remember, he chose to play this one in case he lost the game, and he's up 1 minute later to Castle Age with that scout that he lost earlier to the enemy town center. That might not be... he might not be in for the smoothest early Castle Age, is what I'm gonna say. Let's check out the vision. Has Brown spotted all of those relics? Alright, he has. Good scouting there. Look at this. He's seeing all the relevant parts here in the middle. He's found his extra resources and the relics. So I think that would be his primary focus, is making sure to bring that relic lead home. And on the other side, if I'm KorDimon, I'm trying to do the best I can against that, but not sure how that's going to go for him. Yeah, he has really bad vision in the middle. He has not found a single relic yet. Oh boy, okay. He's definitely on the back foot to start this one up. Man, smooth fast castle for BrownHope, I absolutely agree. Not so much for KorDimon, who needed to use the market more than he wanted to, and who has barely done any scouting in the middle, doesn't see any of the relics. So really, this is the ball is very much in BrownHope's court to cover himself out a nice little lead here in the castle age, although I'm not sure what happened here. I might have missed something there. Up to castle age is KorDimon now as well. There he goes. What's the strategy gonna be? He's dropping one more town center. He's got the food production for that, so fair enough. Would need some more wood in order to get the second one though. And again, he tends to get the mill upgrades earlier than I think he should. That's the heavy plow, even before the bow saw coming out. So I think that's a bad idea. What is that? 150 wood that he could instead put in into another town center here, and so he's gonna fall behind the curve in eco a little bit, which sounds counterintuitively since he's investing into an eco upgrade, but you need those town centers made. And on the other side, we've got 3 town centers already up. The food production isn't there at all yet for BrownHope, but he's got a lot on wood, and he will need to find the transition there to get some farms up and running as well. He's even sold some food, I think, so I wonder why that would be. He's currently lacking food for those town centers, and he's already got the monastery up as well. Yeah, maybe that's not the best idea. Recognizing that he was up first to castle age, maybe he didn't need to actually invest into monks just yet, and actually could have waited a bit longer with picking up those relics, but it was just too tempting, right? I mean, they just smile at you from across the fence here. So tempting. I get why you would just jump on that opportunity. And KorDimon is behind in every aspect here. I gotta say, he's behind in villages, behind in town centers. He's got the better farming economy for now, but that's not gonna hold up for very long, I don't think. Okay. Can the underdog throw a curveball here and get back into this? Interestingly, didn't put any of the TCs against a wood line, at least not in the traditional sense. Going onto stone and gold, it would appear. BrownHope with a very smooth traditional boom. Despite getting housed here for a second, he's gonna be getting all those 5 relics. There's no doubt in my mind. 0 military production buildings for the Slavs. Still, not even a barracks. This could be smooth sailing for the favorite here, and the reverse sweep might be awaiting us. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. Alright. What is the strategy here if I'm the Slavs? So far he's played very pacifist in this game, and honestly in the previous 2 games as well, remember, he kind of always just didn't really expand much out of his base, just tried to build up safely, so I thought really Arena was going to be where he flourished. That seemed like his type of playstyle. So far has been very herbivore, so to speak, and puts up more farms here. He seems not concerned about getting involved in the middle here, and he's got to know that he's kind of given up all the pressure here. He wouldn't even know if the enemy castle dropped him. That's the scary part, right? He doesn't have any units out here. There's no outposts, nothing. If a castle drop came in there from BrownHope, KorDimon surely, yeah, has no right to be surprised about that. He doesn't care what's going on the map so far. Maybe, got to see it from the other side as well, right? Maybe he was aware that he's got a bit of a rough build going. His fast castle wasn't as smooth as he was hoping for, and thus he's kind of cutting some corners now and just hoping that he kind of gets away with it. Yeah, I'm not judging here, that's for sure. But it's looking like he's really giving up a little bit too much here. Even a 4th town center now. He's fully leaning into the boom. So at this point, it's either BrownHope punishes this by grabbing the relics, getting map control, and yeah, rolling him. Or if BrownHope is a bit too inactive, this could pay off really well for KorDimon. It looks like, though, as we see the forward production buildings coming out for BrownHope, he's not gonna sit idly here. We saw this in the previous 2 games. BrownHope has been excellent at getting involved on the map, putting military pressure on, and it looks like he's gonna be doing that as well here in a second. Left to see the action again coming out. I wonder what he's gonna do. Looks like he's gonna start off with a castle. I don't think he's aware of the enemy town center being there. Or maybe he is, actually. If this is his real vision, then yeah, he would actually be aware. So, interesting spot for a castle. Typically people tend to put it in front of the gates or something, or to deny gold like this. This is the traditional spot. But either way, a forward castle is good, helps you break in. I don't hate it. Just a bit of a curious spot as far as I'm concerned. Looks like we're also gonna get to see some knights play here. KorDimon reacting here by putting up a huge house wall. I don't think he's reacting. I think that's just his natural instinct to fortify the wall with some houses here. He hadn't had any vision of that castle. Does he see it now? He does. Okay. How does he have such far vision there? Is Town Watch in already? It must be, because he sees that castle going up and the rams coming in too, so it's now or never for him. He's got to find some reactions here. He doesn't have the military buildings up yet. Just that one barracks is all he's got. Putting up university now. It looks like he's really late to the party here in terms of military. Castle is gonna be up. He's not gonna be able to do anything about that. He's dropping his own castle at the inside, which is gonna temporarily offer him some protection. But he's gonna need much more than just that. A monk is also in for him, so I guess he's got something against the knights. But man, let's see how strong a push BrownHope can muster. He's got 2,000 gold. I really need to see him invest that soon. Either go up to Imp if you really want to, but it's a bit early as far as I'm concerned for that. He's really behind in villages. Idle TC time, 10 minutes almost. Those 3 town centers that he's got, despite that great farming eco, he's been more idle than he should have been. So really, going Imp, I don't think is the greatest play here. I want to see mass military now. Punish that enemy, who really has done nothing but build villages here. It's exactly like I pointed out earlier. BrownHope has fallen behind a bit. He's not. He doesn't have any army. But the one thing he's got is a smoothly running economy at this point. So if the opponent is not able to actually, punish, and this is gonna be a very smooth way to imp for KorDimon. Luckily though, for BrownHope, he's punishing as we speak. He's gonna be taking out that one town center. The ram is about to be taken out, but still the castle fire is gonna finish the job presumably. And more knights start coming in. Imp is in though for BrownHope. Okay, I didn't think that was necessary, honestly. I think a mass of knights, maybe some whatever units you think you need, right? The opponent hasn't really shown anything yet, so it's hard to tell what type of unit you might need. Maybe this is just his way of buying himself some time without doing nothing. But now Boyar is I guess what KorDimon's gonna be leaning on. Castle is the only real production building that he has had here for a while, besides that barracks. So I guess Boyar is the only option. But they are really good at clearing out those rams, I can tell you that much. And honestly, the town center has been stabilized just because that castle just wasn't close enough. I think if you put that all up against the wall, you're able to deny the repair villages, but it's a bit of an awkward spot. At least BrownHope is doing a good job at keeping on expanding and putting up more town centers. Let's quickly check out the eco stats so far, because I don't think KorDimon is that far ahead in eco. He's actually behind. Wow, look at this. He's actually behind in collected resources despite the quite sizable village elite that he's had. Mainly because he's been pushed off of a few of his resources and his castle age transition wasn't as smooth. And also, of course, the 5 relics that BrownHope has collected must not be forgotten. We're entering the decisive phase of this game. If KorDimon can stabilize up to Imp, hold on to that castle, and get his military production up and running, he might have a huge window of about 5 to 10 minutes where he's at his 140 villager mark and able to push back the control from the Berbers here. But if BrownHope is able to now get the few upgrades that he needs, build up a sizable amount of army, and roll through the enemy castles with his trebuchets before the Slavs get to imp, get all their upgrades, and get to use all their resources, I think BrownHope might have the tools necessary to close this one out. I would love to see him stop using those battering rams though, because, I mean, man, they're not even upgraded, they're just streaming in one by one, getting taken out by those boyar. At least I guess you're trading some back here with the castle fire, maybe that's the idea, I'm not sure. Either way, the trebuchets are the main show here, the rams aren't really significant at this point, and he's halted the ram production, which I support fully. A second castle could be nice, just to get more traps out. I think at this point, you're up to imp 1 or 2 minutes earlier, you would ideally like to have more than a 2 trebuchet lead. But it is what it is, he's gonna lose one of those knights here, almost does. Gets the monk though with the castle, well done there. And it's getting a bit difficult for KorDimon to take out those enemy traps, because he doesn't have any of his own just yet. He's frantically repairing the castle, so to prolong the production of trebuchets. And actually he doesn't, he's not currently making, he just queued up the first trebuchet in that castle over here in the east. That's a huge mistake. If I'm not making any trebuchets out of that castle, I'm also not repairing it. What's the point in that case, right? Alright, so Bracer about to come in for the Berbers. That's gonna extend the firing range of this castle as well. And of course just make it hit harder too. Trebuchet is starting to chip away at the front castle though. And the repair villagers from BrownHope should... yeah, he's bringing him in right now. Another mass of halberdiers. Is this what is going to save the game for KorDimon potentially? It worked in game number 1. Let's see if he can pull it off again here. The opponent is relying heavily on cavalry. This time around, though, he's heavily ahead of the curve, has a huge mass of army. You're really gonna need to pump out those halberdiers quickly if you want to have a chance at stabilizing this game. The castle is... oh, he's moved the trebuchets before the castle actually dropped. KorDimon luckily out of stone, though. And he gave it up? Did he... he didn't even type anything. He didn't even lose the castle yet. He just ran out of stone. I guess that seals the series. I didn't see him type GG or anything, but either he disconnected or he just had enough and maybe he called it there. Okay, he GG'd after, you said. Alright, the second castle. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to see, and right, you dropped it there. You're right, denying that gold there is big, but of course he still could have pumped out halberdiers and tried to push back with that. He had some trebuchets. I wonder if it was really GG at this point, but... oh, the villagers. Okay, yeah, the villager situation is looking really bad all of a sudden. Maybe we were at the tipping point already. Man, congrats, yeah, was a good series, really. In the end, the favorite prevails. BrownHope takes the series 2-1 and moves on in the tournament. Still thanks to KorDimon for participating and putting on a good show in the series. One of the more entertaining ones of the first round, for sure. And that's gonna be it for this cast right here. It was a great series to watch. I think I'll be casting another series later today, likely. But for now, I'll go have some food. And I might see you guys later today. But thanks everybody for joining me here. And looking forward to more of this tournament.